So David, back to winning ways after a strong and resilient performance away at Bromley. How happy are you from that performance?
Yeah, well, I think whenever you go away from home and you get a clean sheet, and your two strikers score and your two midfielders get assists, then it's probably going to be a pleasing afternoon. And that's how it sort of turned out. I thought in the first half, I thought we defended really well. We gave up a chance, they created a chance, but then I think they had 12 corners, 39 long throws, and numerous free kicks. I thought we defended really well, and I thought we did what we should do. So it wasn't particularly glamorous, wasn't particularly, necessarily pleasing on the eye in that sense, but we were really professional, which set us up for a brilliant second half. And we ran out deserved winners, and I think 2-0, like I said after the game, flattered Bromley because we could have scored a lot more. But it was all built on a really resilient performance and a really well disciplined performance, and that was much more like us.
And a positive as well is a clean sheet, which we were very sought after before that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think we've had 8 or 9 clean sheets this year. So we know we're not. We can do that. It's an area that we've got to improve on, along with a few other areas, obviously. But we know that when we play well, we've got a great chance of keeping the opposition to 0, and that's got to be an aim going forward for not just the defenders and the goalkeeper, but all the team, because it gives you a better chance of winning the game. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and how have the lads been this week in training? I'm sure building on the positives of Saturday.
Yeah, look, we've had 2 really good sessions, I've said, this week. Monday was a little bit different, a bit light, a bit off the feet. And obviously, it was transfer deadline day, so I was inside all day. But yeah, they're getting their pep back, I have to say. It was a tough January. The amount of games over Christmas and the limited numbers that we had, the opposition, it wasn't easy. We threw away 3 points at Accrington. But yeah, the lads are. I don't think anyone can criticise them not trying, and not trying to improve. So, we're still in that mix. And if we put a run together, then we'll be right in the mix, and that's got to be the aim. We've got 17 games left, I think, something like that. We've got to win the majority, but we're not getting too carried away. But we know we can do it. We've been unbeaten away from home. We've only lost 1 in 6 at home currently, but we've now got to put the 2 together at some point in the next 16, 17, 18 games, and if we do that, then we're going to give ourselves a chance.
And what's the latest with Geza Toure, our new signing?
We're still waiting for his visa. He's in Copenhagen today because his passport wasn't biometric, so he's flown there. His girlfriend's flown to meet him from the Faroes with documents that was at home back in the Faroes. So he's left this morning. He's coming back tonight. So these are the kind of things that Adam Smith, who does an absolutely wonderful job for us, a terrific job, has to navigate and find out, and then because we can't do it without the biometric passport. And you can't do it. You can't apply for a visa while you're in this country. For this country, you have to apply before you arrive. So there's all that's going on. We'll pay for the fast track, then we'll know, or we should know how quickly his visa will come. So yeah, until that time, he can't train with us, do anything with us. I'm sure he's keeping himself fit. So that's where we're at with Geza.
And Dara Burns as well. What's the update with him?
Dara can train. Obviously, he has been training. And he's finding his way back to some level of fitness. I say he hasn't played for well over a month, so it's good to nurse him back in without sort of having a big spike in his load. Obviously, he's looked after himself in the time that his downtime, if you like, which is a good thing. So we know that he can last the games to the end of the season once we get him up to speed. But we're just making sure we're far less sort of conservative with him than we will be when Geza gets here. But at the same time, we've got to make sure we don't give a big spike in his load and he gets injured, because nobody wants that.
Yeah. And Carlisle, our next opponent, they're a side in a lot of flux at the moment. Mark Hughes confirmed today as their new head coach. How much do you think that will affect what Carlisle side we see on Saturday?
Yeah, new manager, new ideas, new impetus. It's not easy to tell what's going to happen, but Mark Hughes was in our league last year. Obviously an experienced manager, managed national teams, managed championship teams right at the top level. So he knows his way around the training pitch and a football pitch, both as a player and as a coach. So he's going to get them in some sort of shape. We obviously don't know what. There might be some tells from previous roles, but we don't know. One thing we do know is they're going to come here scrapping and fighting with a bit of renewed vigour. So we've got to be able to match all that and also show off our skills. I think if anybody had said what position would you like to be in, everyone and the man would take our position rather than theirs. So we've got to take advantage of their predicament in whatever shape, way or form we can. And if we do that at home with the brilliant backing of our home fans, then it should be a good afternoon.
Yeah, and looking to make it 5 unbeaten at Blundell Park as well. How important is that consistency at this stage of the season?
Yeah, like I said it to you earlier, if you get consistency in home form and then you can match that with away form or vice versa, then you're going to have a decent running, and that's what we've got to aim for. Don't get me wrong, Carlisle they're a good team. You watch the game back from last week, how they were 2-0 down after 40 minutes. Beggars belief. They should have been 3 up. It was, and we've watched them a few times this year, and that's been the case. And unfortunately, Mike's lost his job on the back of that. But they're not nowhere near as bad as what the league position suggests. So we've got to make sure that we know what we come up against from an individual perspective, so that we can maintain that consistency that you mentioned at home, and then we can build on that to hopefully go away and remain unbeaten away.
And like you said, we need our 12th man backing us the whole time, don't we?
Yeah, look, like I said, the fans last week at Bromley sold out, only gave us 500, but they didn't half make some noise, and it doesn't half help. It just does, when they get right behind us, which they have done. I've said at home, they have done. It helps, and we've got to give them something to cheer about. But at the same time, we want the fans to. I said it before the Gillingham game. Come with your rattles and your voices, so that we create a real good atmosphere. Because it doesn't half help the players. I'm sure Carlisle will bring a few, big club, and we've got to make sure that our fans sing and we make them sing, because they do that brilliantly away from home, and it helps us. That's why I think our home and away record are about the same. So, good game, good atmosphere, and hopefully a good performance with 3 points.
Thank you, David.